So she's trained for narcotics detection, meaning that she's trained to detect the odors of marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine.
Let's just call Lieutenant Christopher Goley what he is, a Renaissance man. You know, a person with many talents and areas of knowledge. Papillion Police Chief Chris Whitted lists just a few.
He's a paramedic, he's a photographer, he's learned multiple different languages, he's fluent in Korean. He's always striving to learn something different, something new.
In fact, the lieutenant didn't dream of a career in law enforcement when he was a kid. It was languages that always fascinated him.
Growing up, I always wanted to be a translator. I always had an interest in languages. So when I was younger, I studied Latin, French, Spanish. At one time, I was doing a language exchange with a Chinese couple. So I would teach them English for an hour, and they would teach me Chinese for an hour.
And he was able to put those talents to use by enlisting in the Air Force.
So I was always interested in the Air Force, interested in aircraft, Air Force history.
Did you enjoy Korea?
I did. Very much so. I was there for 5 years.
Then, after serving his country,
took the selection test and actually did very well on the selection test. Was called in for interviews with a few departments, and before I knew it, it seemed like I was getting a conditional offer of employment from the Papillion Police Department. This is like my second family here. I feel very close to everyone I work with. I've been here for 20 years, and we're very tight-knit.
Goley was recently promoted to lieutenant in December, a new job that has him more involved in policy and helping them move the department in the right direction.
Ready to go at a moment's notice.
Add that to his duties as a canine trainer, working with his partner Trinity.
We're going to be using our German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, and Dutch Shepherds. She happens to be a Dutch Shepherd. Taking a green, untrained dog and putting a lot of time and effort into training that dog to be able to do some of the amazing things that we do on the street with these dogs. And being able to use that dog as a tool to make our fellow officers' jobs safer.
You're probably sensing that Lieutenant Goley is a pretty complete and busy officer. So complete that Ted Pafford, commander of the American Legion Post 32, nominated him for Officer of the Year for the state of Nebraska.
Every year we nominate or sponsor, work with the community, and Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. Take all the names that were submitted across the state, obviously, review the packages, and then they'll usually, at the midterm conference, that's when they'll announce the winner. It was kind of surprising or nice to see that Officer Goley won this year.
I was a little surprised. To be honest, I didn't even know I had been nominated, but I was in the running for it. So I was a little taken aback, and then I was just very honored that there's a lot of amazing police officers in the state, and to be named Law Enforcement Officer of the Year for Nebraska was a huge honor for me.
Pafford says it really was the perfect confluence of careers with Goley being selected.
At the same time, the benefit of that, all that he does, he's also a veteran. So it was even more special that he then became aware, or better aware. He had been in the post many times, but once we made that connection, then he also became a Legionnaire.
The lieutenant has been in the middle of some serious situations over his 2 decades on the force.
And as a law enforcement officer, part of our job is to turn chaos into order.
And through it all, the motto, policing with pride, is a pretty good descriptor for the way he does his job.
That you take pride in what you do, you take pride in handling those calls for service, you take pride in assisting, the citizens that we serve. And I do. I'm very proud of my career. I'm very proud of how I've handled some calls. I look back on the dogs I've worked with, and a smile comes across my face because I know that we made a difference.
For Papillion Now, I'm Michael Severe.
Good girl.